Stranger Things 3. Is Will gay? Stranger Things 3 had its fair share of exploring love, primarily since the kids are all grown up. Up until recently, they shied off of introducing a gay lesbian character, but viewers have always suspected that Will might be gay. In this video, we've compiled a list of reasons why people thought he was gay since the very beginning. Watch until the end and let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. There are massive spoilers ahead, but for those who are already up to date with Stranger Things, there are clues you may have missed about Will Byers while watching the show. Let's begin in Season 1 when he was only 12. Stranger Things introduced viewers to a set of queer kids who had it rough trying to fit in, especially in school. The boys were discriminated for their love of the AV Club and fantasy games, but they found comfort in each other and spent a lot of time playing Dungeons & Dragons. 11 was a non-conforming child with supernatural powers who escaped a government institution and eventually found a family. The season had queer phobia written all over it, with young bullies using words such as fairies and weirdo to intimidate their peers. Will fell victim of the bullying, and he was always so sensitive, unlike the other kids. When Will went missing, the police and the entire neighborhood were informed that they were looking for a sensitive kid. Apparently, his father used to say that he was queer and called him a fag. Viewers slowly started to speculate that he could be gay, and when Noah Schnapp was asked about it in interviews, he said that his sexuality was not the main thing on Stranger Things. Fans were missing the point. He avoided the topic and finally joined the conversation by asking, "Does being sensitive, or a loner, or a teenager who likes photography, or a girl with red hair and big glasses make you gay?" I'm only 12, but I do know we all relate to being different, and that's why I think the Duffers wrote the show the way they did. So you can ask all these questions. I hope the real answer never comes out. True his words back in Season 1, we are all still searching for the answer. That's the last viewers heard about his sexuality, but the speculations resurfaced again. As much as Will was away for the better part of the season, the suspicions never went away, and they grew in the subsequent seasons. Season 2 tried to sweep his sexuality under the rug in vain. The season was a bit heavy with love, and the kids tried to find themselves as they transitioned into adolescence, but Will was given no time or opportunity to search for love. For nearly half the season, he was possessed by a shadow monster, and the other half he was in and out of the Upside Down. Again, viewers started to wonder why Will had no interest in finding love while the rest of his friends were swiftly moving on. The show at that point seemed homophobic, and even though it wasn't evident with Will, it was clear with Billy. In one of the scenes in Season 2, Hargrove was looking at himself in the mirror, spraying his long curly hair, an earring dangling on his ear and rubbing cologne on his tight jeans. His dad angrily walks up to him and scolds him, saying, "You've been staring at yourself in the mirror like some faggot instead of watching your sister." It was the first time such a comment was coupled with violence from an adult with the responsibility of parenting. There's also a scene where Billy prepares for a date, but his date never showed up, which left a lot of questions unanswered. The show is based in the 80s, and they were probably a bit skeptical about introducing a gay character in the beginning. Even if they were there, as was suspected in the case of Will, it was hard for them to come out. The only thing about Will's sexuality in Season 2 is linked to his mother. She remembered giving him a set of crayons, and he drew a rainbow spacecraft. Those who were keen enough quickly joined the dots and referred to other clues that he might be gay from Season 1. Viewers let that slide, but another hint was evident later. Towards the end of the season, everyone gets together for a dance, and they seem to pair up just fine, except for Will. He was placed with some random girl, and considering it was the last time viewers were seeing the kids in the second season, it was just weird. Will accepted the invitation to dance even though he had no desire to do so. Fans hoped that in Season 3 he would be given a chance to be a normal kid and explore love like the rest of the kids. It really didn't matter whether he would explore sexuality with a girl or a boy. Sadly, the third season left viewers with even more questions about Will's sexuality. Stranger Things 3 begins with Elle and Mike kissing at Jim Hopper's place. Obviously, they had spent all summer getting to know each other and making out a couple of times in the process. The other couples also seemed to be doing fine, and at some point, the adults wanted to join the party. This is regarding Hopper and Joyce, even though their love was one-sided. Everyone was trying their shot except for Will. Sad. Viewers are then introduced to a scene where Will and his friends are catching up and playing a game. Lucas and Mike cut the game short because they wanted to call Max and Elle, and that's when Will lost out. According to him, his friends would rather swap spit with stupid girls than spend time with him. Mike yelled at Will, saying,
"It's not my fault you don't like girls."
That's the statement which made many people conclude that Will is indeed gay. Many fans' interpretation was that Mike already knew that Will was gay. Dustin is also not impressed that the buddies can't spend so much time together, but instead of lashing out, he resorts to trying to contact Susie, his new girlfriend. Wow, even Dustin has a girlfriend! Of course, with the speculations making rounds, interviewers once again asked Noah what he thought about his character's sexuality. In an interview with The Wrap, Noah Schnapp said that his interpretation was different. He doesn't think that his character is gay, he's just not ready to grow up and move on to relationships. He explained that he was not yet over the trauma of being locked up in the Upside Down and surviving it. While the rest of the kids were growing up, he was trapped in an unknown world alone with no one to talk to or date. All he wanted was to go back to the time when he was a kid, when everything was normal, and he could play video games with his friends. His point of view actually makes a lot of sense. Noah also said in the interview that fans had the right to their interpretation, and as usual, they reacted to the matter differently. Some viewers believe that ambiguity is a bait. The Duffer brothers have clarified the other kids' sexuality and left Will's sexuality ambiguous to keep people talking. This is something the gay community is not pleased about. They believe that the production should clarify the sexuality and stop using homosexuality as a bait. The LGBT community and their allies strongly believe that in this point in time, sexuality shouldn't be made ambiguous in TV shows. Other people like Noah believe that Will is just still a kid trying to grow up, and his character should be given a break. In his defense, they are a bunch of kids who are sprouting into teenagers. Regardless of what he went through in the Upside Down, kids take different times to mature. He's probably late, and since it's not the end of the show, there's a chance that the Duffer brothers will explore his love side. Besides, lack of interest in girls doesn't necessarily equate to gay. Some kids don't just like the female species, and it doesn't mean they're gay. Then there is the other lot which is convinced that he's totally gay. I mean, come on! From his dad's comments to his rainbow drawing to his lack of interest in girls. Plus, he's not said he's not gay, and in most cases, silence means consent. Well, even though the issue of sexuality is ambiguous when it comes to Will, it's pretty clear when it comes to Robin, the first LGBTQ+ character. For 2 seasons, the show made it look like one was only safe when they were straight, but that changed in season 3. The Duffer brothers let viewers believe that Steve and Robin would fall deeply in love, and then she dropped the bombshell that she was into girls. Earlier, she had revealed that she was obsessed with Steve, and he was also obsessed with her. Later, Robin explained that she wanted to know what Steven had because Tammy, the girl she loved, had a massive crush on him. Fans were impressed with how Steven handled the news, and he became more supportive of his friend Robin. The LGBTQ+ community was especially glad to have a hot, smart lesbian queen on the show. Maya Hawke expressed in an interview with Entertainment Weekly how glad she was to play the part. She said, "She gets less sarcastic and more vulnerable and more herself, until finally, in the end, she has no choice but to be her complete self. I think that to have that scene in the 80s and to have that scene on TV in general, I feel really honored to have got to be a part of it. And I'm really grateful that the Duffer brothers wrote it." Robin's character opened the doors for diversity in Hawkins, and many viewers were happy with the move. Perhaps in season 4, when Will is all grown up, the Duffer brothers will expound on his sexuality and give viewers a bit more clarity. The plot for season 4 is still unclear, but the cast and the Duffer brothers have told us that the feel will be different. When asked what he thought might happen to his character, Will said, "I know that I might have a separate storyline from everyone else, so we might be filming like in another place. I hope he's happy, but really I love when he's suffering because that's fun to play. We know that he can sense the mind flare, but we don't know how possible that will be if he's far from Hawkins and the gate." Well, there's so much to explore with the character apart from his sexuality, and the next season will hopefully tie the loose ends. Until then, we are left guessing whether he's actually gay or not. What do you think? Are the clues throughout the season enough to convince you that Will is gay? Let me know your thoughts, and remember to subscribe and to turn on the notification button to stay updated in case anything interesting comes up.